Hello everyone, thank you for joining us this morning and welcome to this educational presentation of how to fine-tune your entries with the confirmation method. Now, over the years I've seen that many times students will tell me that, Steve, I had a good trade, but you know what, I just got in too late, or I got in too early, or maybe I didn't know when to pull the trigger. And even though your idea may have been right as to whether you should be buying or selling, it's just that your entry is faulty. Well, that's where the confirmation method comes in. It's not a strategy. It doesn't initiate or generate buy and sell signals. It's just a method that can be altered and applied to your current trading plan, whatever strategy, whatever method you're using. This confirmation tool can be applied so that you can really fine-tune your entries and increase your odds for consistency even more. Now, for example, I'd like to show you how most traders actually trade. Many times you'll see a trader say, well, listen, we had some support here. I bought on this support and then this happened. It went straight down. Well, with the confirmation method I'm going to be sharing with you today, you actually would not have lost any money in this particular setup. And you're going to see how simple it is to apply the confirmation now that we've applied it to our new PTS Primo charting platform. When I first started using the confirmation method years ago, this was something I had to consciously be aware of and apply to my trading. The beauty of this now is that we've automated it, so it's automatically there for you. You'll know exactly where to fine-tune your trades using our platform. This is the educational portal that makes trading simple. So, this promises to be a great presentation. Thanks for joining us this Saturday morning. My name is Stephen Primo. I'm the president and founder of Specialist Trading. And 9 years ago, I teamed up with Pro Trader Strategies with one goal in mind, and that was simply to educate you as traders. I know you've gone to a lot of webinars in the past where you've said, well, Steve, I just want a system that blindly tells me what to do, or I want a method that is 100% foolproof so that I can just enter my buy and sell orders. Well, that, in my opinion, is a recipe for disaster. And that's actually, in my opinion, why 80 to 85% of all traders fail, because you're basically letting someone make your trading decisions for you. And the thing that's missing from most traders is education. That's why they can't make their own decisions, because they rely on someone else or something else to do it for them. So that's what our goal is, to provide you with really simplistic and very highly consistent educational things so that you can really apply them to your own trading and for that first time become a consistent trader. So that's what we do at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies. You're going to see how simple we've done that with our platform. Everything is one click away. All you have to do, all the things I've taught and I've experienced in my 41 years of trading, we've put on the platform so that you can shorten your learning curve so that you won't have to be trading 41 years. It'll all be done for you in just a matter of minutes. Now, today I'm going to show you how simple it is to apply the confirmation method to your trading. But before we begin, as always, I ask that you please take a moment to view our required disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results. I'm going to go into detail what this technique is and then show you how you can apply it to your own trading. But please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And also, please remember as you take a moment to view our required disclaimer that all the examples I'm about to share with you are strictly for educational purposes only. Also, I'd like to take this time to invite each and every one of you, if you haven't done so already, to follow us on Twitter. You may want to copy our handle right there. That's abbreviation for Specialist Trading. Every day I post different information, anywhere from signals that our strategies have generated to little bits of financial wisdom. They're all purely there for educational reasons, so feel free to follow us on Twitter. Okay, so as I stated in the opening statements, we are different from other presenters in that we are an educational company. Our only goal is to teach you how to trade. And these are the same things that I was taught some 41 years ago by my mentors, and they've been able to sustain me now going on 4 decades. Hopefully they will be able to do the same for you. Now, since this is going to be conducted like a classroom, I do want to answer each and every one of your questions, but please wait till the end of class to ask questions, okay? This won't be a real long presentation. I just don't want to stop for every slide here and be here longer and take more of your morning than we have to. So if you happen to have a question, please wait till the end of class to ask them. I promise I'll get to each and every one of your questions. The only one I will answer right now is the most common one, and that is this being recorded? Yes, it is. So if you have to leave early or if you're having technical issues, many times if you log off and then log back onto your computer, the issue will be resolved. But if you're still having technical issues, sometimes it's your internet connection or sometimes you can't hear or see the screen, don't worry, we will send each and every one of you a link to this recording. Okay, so if you happen to join us later, we have a good crowd here today on this Saturday morning. Please wait till the end of class to ask questions. All right, so with that said, let us begin today's class. Now, let me start off by sharing with you what I learned trading on the floor of the exchange. Because once again, as I stated earlier, many times it's not that your strategy or your method is wrong or it's in a drawdown or it just doesn't work anymore. Many times it's because your entry is faulty. Perhaps you get in too early and you experience a loss and you start to get scared, so you stop yourself out. Or perhaps you get in too late and you missed a good portion of the run. You said, why didn't I buy earlier? And now it's up to where I wanted to sell it. So a lot of times you're right in your planning. It's just that your entry is faulty. So here's what I learned on the floor of the exchange. The reason why many times our entries are faulty is because they're based on what we need is a plan that's based on what the chart is telling us and not what an outside source is telling us. So you see, our plan is faulty because we're basing it on either what someone or something is telling us, either some trading guru on TV or in a trading room, or some institution is saying what's going to happen, where you should enter, or some indicator you're waiting for all the lines to cross. But you're not basing it on what the chart is telling you, because really the chart is the source of your income. It's the source of your decision making. So that's where your entry should be based off of, not off of some faulty support resistance that, maybe someone's support here and another one's resistance there, or not off some so-called trading guru in some chat room who doesn't have any more idea of what's going to be happening than you do. It should be based off what the chart is telling you. So let me explain in detail what this confirmation method is. And please remember, once again, you notice I did not say it's a confirmation strategy. This is not a strategy that is used to generate buy and sell signals. It's a method that you can apply to your already current trading strategy, okay? And it can be altered to meet the needs of that strategy. All right, so the confirmation method definition is simply, it's the verification that the trend has resumed in your desired direction. This is your signal to enter the trade. A specialist always waits for his trade to be confirmed before entry. Now, the easiest way I know how to explain this is, I've used this metaphor before, maybe you've heard me say it. Imagine you're at a train station and you want to take a train from point A to point B. All right, so you're waiting there at the train station. All of a sudden, you start to see about a mile or so away a train coming towards you. Now, this train is going in the opposite direction, though, of where you want to go. Are you going to jump onto that train? Most likely you're not, right? Because it appears to be going in the wrong direction. Unfortunately, this is the way 99.9% of traders trade. They want to buy a stock, they see it coming down lower, so they buy it as it's going down, all right? That's like getting on a train that's going in the wrong direction. What you want to do is wait for the train that's headed in your direction, and that's the one you're going to be boarding. So it's the same thing with trading. You want to see that the stock, the future, the E-mini, whatever you're trading, the currency pair, is going in your direction, and that's when you want to jump on board. That's the confirmation that you're headed in the same direction as to where you want to go. So how do we do this? Well, here are the rules for buys, and they're a little bit wordy. Don't worry if you, after I read these or you read them right here yourself, you're a little confused. It'll make a lot more sense once I show you the chart examples. But let's say you're buying. Let's say your strategy, I don't care what it's based off of. It could be based off one of my methods. It could be based off something you've come up with. It could be based off the full moon. I have no interest in what it's based off of. But let's just say it generates a buy signal. You're only going to buy once price trades 1 to 2 ticks above the original entry bar. In other words, the entry bar is the bar where all the rules, all the requirements come into play. That's where you finally say to yourself, you know what? I should buy this. Many times it could be off of a news report. It could be off of some indicators lining up. But that's the close of that bar is where you say, I got to go long. All right? Instead of just blindly buying at the market, you only want to buy once price trades 1 or 2 ticks above that bar. Okay, that's the confirmation that it's going to continue going in that direction. Now, if entry does not take place on the second or the next bar, you may, now you notice here I say you may continue this process with each preceding bar. In other words, track it all the way down. As the bars go lower and lower, just keep lowering your entry level. Now, you can do this as long as the setup is still valid. So in other words, as long as you feel it still has a chance to go up, or until the order is filled and or canceled. All right, so let me show you what that looks like. As we look at this generic chart here, let's say that you're interested in buying this. You want to jump on this. It appears like you're in a high-level consolidation. It's just resting, and the minute you see it break out, that's when you're going to jump on board. So it does break out, all right? So at this point, you say, you know what, I'm convinced this is going to go a lot higher, probably way up to this level. I'm going to buy. So you jump in and buy, and then this happens, right? Does that look familiar to anybody? This is why most traders have difficulty with their entries, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you're wrong in wanting to buy this. It's just that your entry technique is faulty. So if we wanted to buy here, once we confirmed within our strategy that it was time to go up, rather than just simply buying at the market, what you should have done is either have some type of mental area or draw a line here. And once you trade 1 to 3 ticks above, that's where your entry is, all right? As you notice, we did not trade there. So you would never have entered and experienced this. Now, if you still feel that this has a chance of going up, well, once this bar concludes, you just lower this down to here. And now here's where you'll enter. And as long as you feel as if the strategy is still valid, that you still have a nice buy order, you will continue to lower and lower your entry point until ultimately you feel it's not valid to be in this, or you get filled as you did right here. Now, you waited a good 4 days, you got a better price, and you would have entered here. That's your confirmation. Why? Because it traded above the previous bar's high. Now remember, it doesn't need to close there. As you see right here, we closed actually lower. That's okay. All you want to see is that it trades above there. That's a confirmation that it's going higher. And as you can see, you were right all along. It was just that you got in too early. All right. So this is what happens with most traders. They'll jump in somewhere around here. It won't work their way. They'll experience a couple of days of bad movement. They'll get scared. They'll say, I'm getting out of this before I experience a really bad loss. It's just not going my way. And then right when they get out, it starts to go back up. Okay. I'm sure that's happened to everyone here. Happened to me. It happens to a lot of people. That's okay. Now, one thing I have to stress, this is not 100% foolproof. Just because you use the confirmation method does not guarantee the trade's going to work out. We're just trying to put the odds in your favor of getting a better entry, okay? Also, the confirmation method is not designed to get you in at the bottom or get you out at the top. It's just designed to get you in once the train is leaving the station. Remember our metaphor of the train coming down the tracks and we jump on board because it's going in our direction? It's the same way with trading. We're not concerned about buying at the very low or selling at the very top. We're concerned about getting in once it's confirmed that price is going our way. That's the most important thing. And why is that so important? Well, because we know as traders, the worst feeling in the world is to get into a trade, and the minute you get into it, it goes the opposite direction, right? That's the worst feeling in the world. You start to wonder and say, why did I do this? I was, doing fine until I got into this trade. Now it's going the opposite direction. Now I'm losing money. Why didn't I just sit on this? Well, it's the same way if you get in too early. So what we're trying to do is get in, and the minute we get in, to try and have as much profit as possible right off the bat. That's the greatest feeling in the world once you buy something and it just goes higher and higher and higher. And you know you have nothing to lose most of the time. All right, so that was a buy setup. Let's look at the rules for selling. Remember, it does not make any difference what method you're using. I don't care what it's based on. It could be based off of the tides of the ocean. It makes no difference. It could be based off of earnings reports. But let's say your method generates a sell signal. Once a signal has been given, in other words, once that bar has been coming together with all the requirements come together, you're only going to sell, not at the market or not place a limit above. You're just going to sell once price trades 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 ticks below. It's up to you, the original entry bar, the original sell bar where all the rules came into play. Now, if this does not take place on the next bar, well, you may continue this process. And you see here that I say may, and I'm going to jump into that in just a few moments. You may continue the process with each preceding bar, as long as the setup is still valid or until the order is filled or canceled. So let's look at another example here. As you see, this generic stock is going much lower. you see a little double bottom here. This could be major support. That's why we've stopped. If we break below that, you're going to be a seller, okay? That's your Fibonacci support. That's your Elliott Wave, whatever you're looking at, where the institutions are all buying here. So you want to make sure that it holds here. If it doesn't, you want to jump on board because you think it's going much lower. Well, that's your so-called support, and look what happens. So you decide to sell. And once you sell right here, well, you have 2 more days of up action going against you. This is where most traders scare themselves and say, boy, maybe I got fooled, maybe I got tricked. I'm getting out of this, and I'm going to kind of wait till the dust settles before I get back in. And you know as well as I do that most likely you'll never get back in because you're too frightened to get. Emotions come in, you start to self-doubt yourself, and so you're out of the trade entirely. Well, what if we had applied the confirmation method? Instead of selling once we thought we broke the so-called support, let's just say we'll go short only if we trade 1 or 2 ticks below. Either buy the puts, if we could short the stock, that's great, but either way, you're not going to be having a negative bias until you trade 1 or 2 ticks below. Well, it never went below in the next bar, and if you still feel that this is a valid signal to go short, well, then you just simply raise your entry level with each preceding bar until you either feel that it's not valid to be short this, or you feel that you got canceled or the trade has been negated, or you ultimately entered the trade as we do right here. That was your confirmation. Remember, it does not matter if we close below there. Just the same way when we were going long, it would not matter if we closed above. All that matters is that we trade below that confirmation entry. And that's your confirmation to get in. You can get in right here, and someone would say, well, boy, okay, well, I originally wanted to sell here, so it got me in at a better price. But remember, that's not our goal. Our goal is not to get you a better price. Our goal is to get you in with least possible risk, because we want, the minute we get in, we want to see things go our direction, just as they did right here, okay? Remember, the minute we get on that train, we want to see it go in our direction. That's the basis of the confirmation method. It's not to get you into the bottom or the top. Now, it's extremely important to know that when we say confirmation, it is a method, and all methods can be edited and altered to meet your needs. Different strategies have different needs, all right? So that's why we want to also edit this as we can. Now, the purpose of waiting for confirmation is not to get us in at the beginning of a trade, but also to keep us out of bad trades as well. Let me show you what I mean here. Remember that first slide we talked about? Let's say you had thought there was major support right here, all right? So you wanted to be a buyer once we got down here. Let's say that all the institutional reports were buying at this level. Let's say that that trading or chat room you go to says this is the place to buy. It's got major support. Let's say that your Fibonacci program you spent thousands and thousands of dollars for says that you should be buying this right here, okay? So you decide to place a limit order right here, and, well, you bought, but you bought without confirmation. But that's okay because you trust all these outside sources, right? They have high levels of consistency according to them, right? Remember, I used these same things 41 years ago. They didn't work for me. Elliott Wave, Fibonacci, support and resistance, institutions. As a floor trader on the floor of the stock exchange, I knew what all the institutions were doing, and it still couldn't help me. So I don't think it's about to work now. So let's say you had bought here without confirmation. Well, had we used confirmation, we would not have bought. We still would have liked this and have been a buyer, but we would have waited for it to trade above. And had we tracked it all the way down, we would have never lost money. Why? Because we were only buying if it traded above the previous bar's high. And as you can see, it never did. So at this point, I think once we had really dropped and fallen out of bed here, I think you would have said, you know what? I don't think this is a good thing to buy after all. And guess what? You would not have lost any money. So sometimes, as we traders say, the best trades are the ones you never take because they keep you out of trouble. So this is another advantage of using the confirmation method. It will keep you out of bad setups at times. But please remember, none of this is guaranteed. We're just trying to up the odds in our favor. So this is an entry technique only, but it can be altered to meet your strategy. Our goal using the confirmation method is to increase our odds for a successful trade, but there are no guarantees for winning trades. Never. I mean, I've been trading for 41 years. Nothing is guaranteed. It doesn't matter what method you've ever, some fly-by-night method that's so new no one's ever heard of, some indicator that is just amazing, or some new way of tracking the markets, using some way of tracking open, high, low, close volume or whatever. Trust me, they may have certain edges, but nothing is guaranteed. Everything will produce losses from time to time. All we're trying to do is educate you so that you can decide. And so that when you're trading something that you perhaps spent $5,000 or $10,000 for, you don't sit there and go, I'm getting killed here and I have no idea why. I'm just blindly entering the orders the way it says. It's supposed to work. This guy says he never loses, and how come I'm losing money all the time? We want you to be in charge of your trading. It would be similar to someone flying an airline, a plane or a jet, and once he's in the air, asking the crew or even asking the passengers, well, what do you think I should do now? What do you suggest? How do I land this? But that's the way traders trade. They're always asking themselves, well, what do you think I should do? Who do you like? What stocks do you like? I'm going to listen to this program on TV or online. I'll go to this blog. What does this guy like? What does he think of the markets? You should never ask that. I never ask anyone what they think of the markets because I know it's just right in front of me. The market tells me. I don't need to ask anyone. All I have to do is look at the chart and the market tells me. So that's what we're trying to instill in all of you and give you these techniques and these edges so that you can be in charge and you'll never have to ask anyone, what do you think I should do? What is your pick for today? Where do you want to buy this? Where do you want to sell this? Those are questions you should never, ever ask because think of it. Think of the message you're sending the markets. You're basically saying, I don't know what to do. I have no idea. So you're going to tell me what to do. And would anyone get into a business that way? Would you let someone use your money that way? But that's the way traders trade. So it's our goal to educate you so you never have to be in that position. Now remember, if you look at the first paragraph here, this is an entry technique only, but it can be altered to meet your strategy. All right. This is what I talked about before and touched on. Every strategy is different. We have different strategies, upwards of 10 different methods at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies. Some strategies are pullback methods. Some are consolidation or continuation methods. Others are just straight buy and hold. But each strategy has a different personality, has a different energy level. So you can alter the confirmation method. In other words, if it's a pullback, meaning that you're waiting for price to go lower, you can use the confirmation method the way I just described, where you'll track every trade as it goes lower and lower your entry point. But many times we have strategies that are based off of momentum, and you want to get in and out very quickly. So oftentimes we only use the confirmation method for the next bar only. So that's the way we use this. The next bar only is oftentimes used in a lot of our strategies. So let's see how this can be applied to a strategy that actually uses this method, uses this style of the confirmation method. This is strategy number 4, one of our most consistent strategies. I think it's our best strategy in terms of being able to transfer onto any market. You can trade any market, stocks, futures, currency pairs, Bitcoin, commodities with strategy number 4, okay? Now, the way we use the confirmation method with this, the standard format is that we only use the confirmation method on the setup bar. If we don't get entry on the next bar, well, then the trade is negated. But that's just a standard format. You're always free to alter it any way you'd like. Remember, you're in charge of your trading. We're not here to tell you this is the only way to trade it and you have to follow what we say, because then we would be going against our philosophy entirely. We're just giving you education. We want you to experiment and to research it. We want you to give us your own idea of what works best for you. And remember, this is all made one click away with our new platform. So you don't have to calculate or wonder if you're trading above or below a certain level. We have it right there for you. All right, so let's look at a couple of setups here. Here's one in FOSL for solar. We have 2 strategy number 4 buy setups right here. All right. All we have to do is click on the strategy number 4 tab. And we see at the very bottom, it says confirmation. Once you click that on, you'll see that you automatically have the areas in which to go long. Now, the very first bar, we never traded above there on the second one. But the second bar is also a strategy number 4 buy signal. So you know exactly, it gives you the price, 20.57. So you would know where to enter the order. Once you traded there, place a limit. It's up to you, but we have it all done there automatically for you. And the stock took off. All right. This is how we use strategy number 4 along with the confirmation method. Here's a sell order in WYNN, W-Y-N-N, okay? Now, automatically, we don't just sell at the market. Remember, you're free to do that if you'd like, but the basic format of the rules call for us to enter one tick below. So in order to know exactly where that is, it's simple as clicking on strategy number 4, click on confirmation, and automatically it appears with the price. So you know at 151.96 you want to go short. You can either buy puts, some type of spread strategy, but that's the point of which it's confirmed that this most likely is going lower. It's not guaranteed, just confirmed using this method. And as you can see, you had a nice trade there. Now, we opened lower, so it was off to the races right from the opening. Okay, MEDP, once again, we have a stock that's just kind of going sideways, but strategy 4 generated a buy signal, all right? So we already know this has a high level of consistency, but we just don't want to buy at the market because we know that sometimes it will generate a bad signal. You know, not all signals are winners. So we want to confirm it just to make sure it trades one tick above at 44.83. As you can see, it did on the very next bar, so you would have been long. And once again, we do not care where we close. All that matters is that we traded intra-bar one tick above. All right, as you can see, we closed lower. That's okay, because look what happened weeks later. The stock took off. Now here are perfect examples of why strategy number 4 only uses the confirmation method on the next bar only, okay? As you can see here, we only used it here. This bar never went down to it, so the trade is negated. All right? Same thing here. It never traded there in the next bar, so the trade is negated. We most likely would have had losing trades if we had tracked it all the way up, and then it went down for one bar, then went back up and stopped us out. Same thing here. We would have gotten a nice 1 or 2 days, and then we would have been stopped out. Here, we have another signal. So these two signals are not taken using strategy number 4 because we never traded below on the next bar. That's the way it's used with strategy number 4. We don't track it. We just want to get in on the next bar only. Now, some of our students say, well, Steve, I found better results for me, from my style of trading, if I track it for 2 bars only. Okay, but if that works for you, fine. But this is just the standard format of the next bar only. So now we have one last signal here to go short strategy number 4 in INTC. And we went short at 52.07. Look how it closed. It closed above. At this point, we're not concerned. We have our stop in place. We entered. And as you can see, it went in our direction. But that was all because we used the confirmation method for the next bar only. As we look at the ETF, the QQQs, that's the ETF based off the NASDAQ index, we see here that the market is coming down much lower. This is an older chart this summer, but a 4 signal was generated, okay? Just to make sure that we're not going to keep going lower, we want to apply the confirmation method, one tick above, because what if we, on the next day, went lower? All right, we would not have wanted to buy here. So we purchased one day, the next day, using strategy number 4. Even though we closed below, that's okay. And look what happened to the ETF. Now here's another sell signal, IBM. Strategy number 4, sell signal, okay, at the very top. But how do we know it's not going to go higher? Well, guess what? We had confirmation on the next bar, and it went much, much lower. Okay, so let's review the confirmation method before we go into question and answers. Remember, only listen to what the stock is telling you. So many traders actually have a good trading plan. Maybe it's something you've purchased, maybe another educator, maybe it's something you devised yourself. So the plan may not be faulty. It's just your entry that is faulty. And many times it's because you're listening to an outside source telling you when to get in, telling you when to get out. Just stop and base all your decisions based off what the chart is telling you, okay? So if your strategy or method, whatever it's based off of, we have no interest. It just does not matter. We're not, talking about our strategies today. We don't care what method you use. But if it generates a buy signal, instead of blindly buying at the market, instead of placing a limit much lower, only buy above the previous bar's high or above the bar that generates the signal. So let's say you're looking for good earnings, and the good earnings come out that day. You come home and there's some good earnings, and the stock's up a little bit, but the earnings tell you that this should be going much higher. It's worth, maybe a quarter more of its value. Instead of just buying at the market, know that you'll buy if it trades, not closes, but trades above that day's high. Now, if you get a sell signal, say you don't like something and some bad news comes out, let's say you're long already, and this is the signal telling you to get out. Instead of just getting out at the market, sell below the previous bar's low or the bar that generated the signal. That's the confirmation that it's going lower, okay? And also, a special added bonus of the confirmation method is that many times it will keep you out of losers. It's not guaranteed, but many times if you apply this confirmation method and continue to track it all the way down, it will keep you out of a trade that would never have been initiated in the first place, okay, as we showed you earlier in the previous charts. But extremely important points to remember. This is only an entry technique. It is not a strategy. I would say probably the number one question I get from my students around the world is, well, Steve, the confirmation method generated a buy signal, and I don't understand why I should be going long here. First of all, what's wrong with that statement is the confirmation method does not generate buy signals, all right? It's just an entry technique for a buy signal that should already have been generated using some different information. But you have to have a method in place already to generate the buy and sell signals. The confirmation entry is just telling you where to actually enter once you have generated a buy or sell signal. Okay? Our goal is not to have you buying at the very bottom and selling at the very top. Our goal is simply to increase our odds for a successful and consistent trade. Okay? So many times you saw that you got into a trade in some of these examples I share with you, and it gave you a really great price. Had you just bought at the market using the confirmation, you would have purchased it much lower. Well, that doesn't happen all the time. Many times you'll even pay at the same price or even higher. That's okay. Remember, we do not want to be in a trade where the minute we enter, it goes the opposite direction. It's the worst feeling in the world. You feel like, you know, why did I even do this? Had I just not even traded it, I would not be losing money. That's a terrible feeling. So what we want to do is jump on board a train that's going in our direction and continues to go in our direction. We want to jump on board a stock, a future, a commodity, and the minute we buy it, it goes higher. That's the best feeling in the world because now you're playing with the house money. All right. But please remember, this is a technique that is, you know, we put together to increase your odds for consistency and success. It is not a guarantee that you're going to have a winning trade now. There are no guarantees in trading. So if anyone ever tells you that, you should run. There's no guarantees. I've been trading 41 years and everything loses and everyone loses money from time to time. That's okay. If you have an edge or some type of way to decrease your losses or keep them to a minimum, then that's fine. You're already ahead of the game. And that's what we're trying to do, especially with the confirmation method. So, as we go into the question and answer portion, I want to ask you, do you think this tool could have helped your trading this past year? Let's say you've gone back and while I've been speaking, you've been looking at your trades for this past week, maybe this past month, and you say, gosh, if I had only used this, I would have had a pretty good month here. I'm like seeing how this could have really helped me. Well, what if we had gone back and you look back at your past year's trades, okay, starting in January of 2018? Could this have helped you? Okay, I honestly think it could have. And we have a great offer for all the people attending today. Just for taking time out of your Saturday morning, we're going to offer you a 30-day trial for only $7 for the PTS Primo Charting platform, which includes the confirmation method. So anything you want to trade, you're going to see exactly where that is in an instant, where you should be going, buying or selling. Here's what's included in the $7 deal. Obviously, you're going to get the new confirmation tool. We're also going to include the custom crosshair feature. I believe I talked about this a week or so ago. This is a very popular tool which will tell you the amount of momentum you have in a trade. It is a great way of telling you if there is momentum dissipating or if strong momentum is building in a trade, whether you should take the signal or not. Okay. We're also going to include our enhanced buy-sell line. This is another great tool I've talked about in the past that instantly tells you the overall trend of the market. Our top and bottom 25% feature tells you the short-term direction of the market based off of price pattern, all right? We have over 90 of the most prominent technical indicators, but if you are a fundamental trader, that's still okay. Don't worry, we know we have a technical bias, but we're not here to tell anyone how or how not to trade. We just want to educate you. So if you like fundamental news, if you like earnings, we have free Bloomberg TV. We have a media page where all you have to do is click on the Bloomberg media icon and you will get automatic free live Bloomberg TV. As you see right here, it is as simple as clicking on the Bloomberg icon on the PTS Primo Charting platform, and the media page will automatically appear. So any fundamental news, earnings, economic reports, announcements that are happening live as they're being reported will be taking place on your charting platform. And then lastly, we have great personalized tech support. Any reason why you can't load up a page or don't know how to use a certain feature or tool, we will be there to resolve the issue in a matter of moments. This is all a 30-day trial for only $7. I've said this before, if you're going out to breakfast today, or even if you're going to buy a cup of coffee, it's probably going to spend you close to $7, but that'll last you for a good 15, 20 minutes. This will last you for 30 days, and you can decide with all these features that I've been using for 41 years how to apply them, and you'll decide for yourself whether you want to continue or not. Most of our traders through Testimonial who have taken our 30-day trial continue to be on our plan because they love what's offered, things that will really increase their odds for consistency. So here's how to take advantage of this. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. I developed the PTS charting platform with them, and they handle all of our sales and all of our tech support as well as our discounts. You can email them or call them directly at area code 310-598-6677. Now that link you see at the very bottom is the link that will take you up to the $7 sign-up page, also answer any more questions you have. But it's not a live link. You'll have to copy and paste that onto a browser. But if you look in the chat box in the far right-hand corner of the GoToWebinar column there, you'll see in the chat box they have posted a live link right now, the same link you see below. All you have to do is click that on, and it will automatically take you there, okay? So this is a great, great offer. Once again, only $7. Now, these are things included on the platform that have taken me 41 years to accumulate. Well, I can do this, for you in a matter of seconds with our platform. All you have to do is just simply click it on, okay? So let me open up the question and answer box. If you have any questions, feel free now to answer them, and then, or I should say to ask them, and I will answer them accordingly. Someone is asking, what is the price after? Well, remember, Pro Trader Strategies handles all the pricing and discounts, but I do believe after 30 days, you have the option to continue or not. It's entirely up to you, but I believe the price is less than $100, I believe about $97 a month, which is still tremendously inexpensive. I know some platforms are charging $250 a month just to be able to apply them, and you're just basically using standard information that has been around for ages. Well, the things that I show, I don't think you go to a platform, you're going to see the confirmation method. You're not going to see our buy-sell line. You're not going to see our top, bottom 25%. These are exclusively only found on our platform. So this is a great way. Jan is asking, is this including the PET-D? No, Jan, I'm sorry, this not. The PET-D is a very top-of-the-line feature. It's a little bit more advanced, and that's a course in and of itself. So this does not include the PET-D. The PET-D is usually sold for upwards of $2,000 to $3,000, and so I wouldn't want to, in good faith, charge you that much for a simple Saturday morning presentation. But that's a great, great tool as well. But that's something totally different, okay? Jay asks, is Indian market data available? Yes, it is. Indian market data is now available. Once again, Pro Trader Strategies handles all of the data and tech support issues. Ask them and they can tell you exactly, but I know we just had a new feature that does offer Indian. It also offers Canadian markets, Australian markets, a lot of different markets, commodities, Bitcoin futures. So there's lots of great ways, okay? So yes, it does work with the Indian markets. Anywhere, remember what we talked about today, the confirmation method, it does not in any way alter what strategy or method you're using. So let's say you trade the Indian markets, because we have a lot of questions on that. All right, if you're trading the Indian markets, you have to already have in plan a method that is generating buy and sell signals. The confirmation method just then is applied to tell you when to get in. It is not telling you or generating a buy or sell signal, okay? Jan asks, what is the PET-D telling you at the Dow Jones and the SPYs and the QQQs? Well, Jan, right now we don't have the PET-D available here, so you'd have to look at that. And this is not a live class right now. This is a static PowerPoint, so I don't have the accessibility to be able to looking at those charts. Fernando asks, or should say states, he goes, these seminars are great, thanks. I just recently purchased strategy number 4. It gave me the affirmation on what I've been doing wrong. My question is, does your platform work on iPad, and on the confirmation, do you wait for the close of the next bar? Great question. In terms of the iPad, that would be something you would ask Pro Trader Strategies. I'm not saying it doesn't. I look at this on my PC all the time, so I wouldn't know. But they once again handle all tech support, so they'd be able to answer that for you. But in terms of teaching and trading, I answer all those questions. And you're asked to say, you said on the confirmation method, do you wait for the close of the next bar? No, remember, I think I stated a number of times, Fernando, you do not have to wait for the close. Now, remember, we do not teach nor do we trade systems. A system means that it's the same rules each and every time. So these are the rules, you have to follow them. We do not believe in that. What we teach and trade are strategies. Strategies are 60 to 70% rule-based, but they offer 30 to 40% discretion. This discretion means that you have the capability to alter and edit the pre-existing rules to meet your needs. So the standard format calls for price to either just trade intra-bar, one tick above or below the previous bar's high or low. Now, if you say, well, you know what, I want a little bit more confirmation, I want to make sure that it closes there, you're more than welcome to do that. That's fine, but that's not in any way required. Some of our students like to trade that way. They say, Steve, you know what, I want to wait for a close because sometimes I'll see it trade above and then it closes lower and then goes down even lower. Okay, that's great. If you don't want to use it that way, that's fine. But just remember, you're here to be in charge of your trading, not us. We do not teach systems. If you go to a systematic trader, he's going to tell you these are the rules. And you're going to say, but you know what? The other day it was really boring, slow market, and I got whipsawed a lot. A systematic trader will say it doesn't matter. You have to take it. Well, with a strategy, you can actually, use your own discretion and say, this is a really slow ranging market in the middle of summer, in the middle of August. I'm not going to take these signals because they're generating too many whipsaws. Or if I do, use them, I'll wait for price to close above the confirmation. You can alter it to meet your needs because the market environment is always changing. It's silly to be static, stand up in the middle of a storm and be like a strong tree that doesn't bend with the wind. That's the tree that's going to fall over and topple. But the tree that bends and is flexible with the storm is the tree that survives. It's the same way with trading. You can be flexible with these rules. As long as you stay within the normal guidelines, it's okay to edit and alter them. If you want to continue to track using the confirmation method for each next bar, that's great. If you only want to use it for the next bar only, that's great. It's up to you. Remember, you are in charge of your trading, all right? But once again, Fernando, to answer your question, I'm not, saying it doesn't work on iPads. I would just say, check it. You can email Pro Trader Strategies. There's no obligation. They'd be happy to answer that question for you, okay? Jan says, I need to know the accuracy of the PET D before I buy. Well, first of all, there is no accuracy. And once again, the PET D is simply, that would be, Jan, that would be similar to saying, I need to know the accuracy of the 50-period moving average. Well, it's just an average. It doesn't generate buy or sell signals. The PET D does not generate buy or sell signals. The beauty of the PET D is the ways in which you apply it. All right, that's the secret of the PET D. There's no, in terms of accuracy, because accuracy for what market, for what time frame, for what direction. There's just too many variables, okay? And remember, that goes into systematic trading. Anytime you have a system, it has to be traded the exact same way each and every time, and that's how you come up with statistics. If you trade a strategy, we encourage you to trade it differently from the next trader. And so there's no way we can come up with statistics. We're not a statistical company. We are an educational company, okay? So there's no back testing. Once again, if you're looking for back testing, that can only be done with systems. It cannot be done with strategies, all right? Now, trust me, I have traded, I've even taught systems, and they require me to enter the rules and use the same rules each and every time. And I can say, honestly and truthfully, that each and every one of them has blown up, all right? Everyone, when the market conditions changed, they stopped working and they lost a lot of money. So that's why I no longer believe in systematic trading. I only trade strategies which give me the option to alter and change. And that, in my opinion, is what will make you a consistent trader, okay? Now, as we come to the close here, I want to say the confirmation method, which is what we're specifically talking about today, not the PET D, is a great way to add consistency to your market. Remember, you can have a plan already in place, but because your entry is not, working well, or you enter too late, you enter too soon, the strategy is not working the way and not generating the results you'd like to see. With the confirmation method, we really strongly feel it will fine-tune your entries and give you that added consistency that you're interested in. So any questions concerning teaching or trading of the methods. Once you become a member and take the $7 offer, you'll get my private email and you can ask me questions on how to trade it and different styles and whatever. That's also included in this. Anything involved with tech support. Does it work on an iPad? What are the PCs I can use this with, or can I use this with different software? That's all tech support, and that should be all related to Pro Trader Strategies, okay? In terms of what time period you want to trade, that once again is up to you. There's no, if you think that one time period is better than the next, well, then you're fooling yourself, because everyone should be trading differently. This is not a system. A system will say it only works in this time period. A strategy says it works on the time period that you feel comfortable with. Now, some of our traders use our strategies and method on 5-minute charts, and they say that's the best. Whereas others use the exact same strategy, the exact same plan on a weekly bar, and they say, no, this is the best. Which one is better? The only time period, the only market that is right is the one that makes you feel comfortable, all right? You're in charge. You should be making these decisions, not me. You should not come up to me and say, Steve, what time frame do I trade? Or Steve, what market do I trade? Or Steve, what are the statistics? Remember, that once again is sending a signal to the market saying, I don't know what to do. I have no idea what to do. I have no confidence in myself. So Steve, you tell me. And that is no way, in any way, to start into an endeavor. You should be getting the education, which is what we provide, and then making your own decisions, okay? As we get towards a close here, one last question. Can this be used on day trading on 5 and 2 minute charts? Yes, it does not matter. So I intraday trade and I use the same technique, okay? I intraday trade the E-minis. I use tick charts. I use the confirmation method. Same thing, okay? We have traders that trade weekly bars. They use the same confirmation method. It makes no difference what time frame. It makes no difference what market. And it makes no difference what direction, okay? So experiment for yourself. You'll see that this will really increase your odds for consistency, and then jump on board with a $7 offer. It's only going to be for a short time, so contact Pro Trader Strategies right there, as you can see, or give them a call. But the link in the chat box in the far right-hand corner will automatically take you to that $7 sign-up page, okay? $7. You can't even go out to lunch at a fast food for less than $7 or $8. And that will only last you, once again, for a good portion of the day. This is going to be for 30 days. You'll get all this information that's taken me 41 years to accumulate. So this is a great offer. Thanks for attending today. I hope you got something out of this. As you take one last look at our disclaimer, remember, once again, I really give a lot of detail and attention to educating you so that you can be in charge. That's the secret to consistency. Not relying on someone or something else to tell you how to trade, but relying for the very first time on your own feelings, on your own education. And this is what we want to do. We want to instill you with that education, okay, so that you can be in charge for the very first time. This, in my opinion, is the only way one becomes a consistent trader. Thank you so much for attending today. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.